Hi everyone, and welcome to another fabulous car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.CA. Today we have lot 239. It's a 2001 Mazda MX-5 Miata. So the original Miatas were a body type NA in Mazda speak. This second generation, which began model year 98, is the NB, so the B following the N, or the A rather, so NB. And then this one within the NBs is known as an NB2. That's because starting in model year 2001, an example of which is right here I'm sitting in, got an updated powertrain. So Mazda moved forward with the Miata powertrain, gave it variable valve timing. So it's still a 1.8 liter engine, but power got juiced up to 142 horsepower from the factory. And as I say, a variable valve timing is attributable to that. So maybe I got that reverse. The extra power is attributable to variable valve timing. So we have an emerald mica exterior over a tan leather interior. I'll give it a start and then we'll get a sound of the engine and we'll get the sound of the exhaust and do a little exterior tour. It's unfortunate the clouds just moved in front of the sun, so we do have some great photos of the car in the sun and some walk around videos and such in the sun as well. So take a look at those because we're not in as bright an environment as we were. So giving the 2001 Mazda MX-5 Miata a start. So no trouble at all. Started nice and sure. I will read out the odometer reading. It's currently 134,105 kilometers, 134. So this one is going to its new owner at under 135,000 kilometers. Another couple neat treats while I'm looking at them. I don't want to miss them when I'm talking you through the interior. Automatic transmission with this one. So it's a 3-speed automatic, but it comes with an overdrive, just a toggle switch right here on the shifter itself. I'll show you that when we get to the interior. So it's not a screamer on the highway. And there's also a Bluetooth double din deck installed. The original head unit comes with the car. So moving on to taking a look underneath the hood. I've popped the hood and we'll change the camera angle. I'll be right back. Okay, so as I was saying, it's a 1.8 liter 16 valve engine here in the 2001 Mazda MX-5 Miata, and factory rated at 142 horsepower. It's a bit of a mess right by the oil cap. That looks like the last guy to change the oil had a little spill. So clean engine bay in terms of corrosion. I don't see any corrosion, but let's face it, it could do with an engine shampoo. But I'll get in close to the belts and you can get a good listen at those. So nice smooth idle, pretty quiet. As I say, 1.8 liter, good for a factory rating of 142 horsepower. And we'll move back here to the exhaust. And we've got a dual exhaust, polished tips on either side. Move into the sound. So there we go. I'll shift to back into the cabin here. I think we can cut that engine. We don't need that anymore. And we can move towards a tour of the exterior of the car. I'll release this prop rod. Get that into place. And nice lightweight hood on the Miata. So, make sure that hood's down. That's better. Okay, so we've got a neat Mazda emblem up front. Somehow from this angle, this car looks a bit like a first generation Dodge Viper. Pretty different in the layout and the power rating, but those headlights do have a striking resemblance. The owner of this car has added a second pair of fog lights. You can see them on either side of the license plate. The factory fog lights are farther out, kind of built into the front spoiler, and the front headlights, of course, which probably could use a little bit of a polish. They work just fine, but you could clear those up and make them a little better with an hour's worth of a rotary tool and a bit of elbow grease and the right polish. But yeah, Mazda's name for the color is Emerald Mica. A little bit of stone chipping up here up front, but certainly not exceptional for a car its age. I'll pull out my handy dandy tuning. We can take a look at it compared to, that's probably the biggest chip. So quite small relative to the tuning. A couple more chips here, but they feel quite smooth. I don't know that those are worth refinishing at this time. So wandering around the car, there's an aftermarket set of alloys on the car. They're by Stanford, and those have a bit of a polished finish. I wish this seller had dusted off these front rims. They're showing some brake dust. They're a lot nicer on the rear, but all the way around we're looking at a set of 195/45 R16 Pirelli Cinturato P7 tires. Check the detailed listing for lot 239 for more details on the tires. So this is a nice treatment. This body skirt matching on the other side, of course, but it gives it an additional sporty look to this MX-5. Body colored side mirrors on each side, and the wiper arms do show some signs of sun bleaching, we'll call it, but still quite presentable. The paint's still in place. Sometimes you see that paint even wearing off, and you see the silver color underneath. We don't see that, even though the paint's a bit oxidized. So here's a good look at the driver's rear Stanford wheel. And as I say, Pirelli Cinturato P7, 195/45 R16s all the way around. And just checking those wheels for marks. There's some really light marking here on the very edge on the driver's front. I see no marks here on the driver's rear. It's a shame that we've lost the sun, because the car really did look good in the sun. I do encourage you to take a look at our detailed listing for the photos and videos we did before the clouds kind of got in our way, spoiled our parade. And then dual exhaust out back in the Miata, and polished tips on either side. The emblems look quite good. There's a Miata emblem with the MX-5 script in smaller font. There's the Mazda logo with the middle brake light, and then the Mazda emblem, still familiar to this day. So here's a good look at the rear of the car. And with the size of the two-seater, it's quite easy for me to just peer right in and take a look at that cockpit. So sharp with the tan interior, with the black dash and steering wheel and center stack. You'll note that we have a parade boot in place right now. That comes with the car. And as an owner of a couple of Mustangs from the period, I'll say that Mazda figured out its parade top a little bit parade boot better than Mustangs did, and that's considering that I'm not here in the middle of summer. It's a nice day, but it's a bit cooler than your typical July day, and often those are a lot better in the warmer weather. But it did not need the warmer weather to be nice and malleable. When we get to the trunk, I'll also show you that the car comes with a tonneau cover as well. So zooming in on the passenger side rear wheel, bit of a mark again right on the edge here, but quite minor. And the Stanford at this corner is looking quite clean, and just it's staring right at me. I will mention four-wheel discs. So Yeah, the Miata, when it came out for model year 1990, of course that was the NA, or the first generation. It was kind of filling a void that had been left behind by MGB, TR7, Spitfire, Fiat Spider. I guess the only thing like it at the time was the Alfa Romeo Spider, which had a different reputation for reliability, probably the same reputation as the cars I just mentioned, and it was a lot more expensive than the Miata. So this Miata is one of over 1 million produced, which makes it the most produced two-seater convertible car ever produced. So cruising on into this front passenger wheel, devoid of any marks, but as I say, it could have been a little cleaner here for photo day. Stanford 16-inch in place. I'm going to pause the camera because I know there are a couple of personal items in the trunk, but I did want to show it to you. So I'll be right back. Okay, getting close to the part of the tour where I'm going to show you the trunk. I'm going to start here because in this little storage compartment in the center console is a release for the trunk. It's also a release for the fuel door. So while I'm at it, I might as well show that to you. Fuel door popped up as I released it. Nice and clean in there. I even have a photo of the cap removed in our detailed listing for lot 239. So inside the trunk, we have the tonneau cover that I mentioned. I'm not going to install it as part of this video. The seller said he might have a photo of it with the car on. So please check our detailed listing for that. And then this here, as you might guess, is a windscreen. So it's all folded up, but it snaps into place when the top is down to manage the, I guess, frontward blowing wind with the top down from behind the headrests. So nice clean trunk as we see. And I haven't been this deep yet, but I think I know what I'm going to find. Sure enough, a spare tire and a change kit right there. Looking in unused condition, and there's the little battery for the MX-5 Miata. Little plastic compartment there too to supplement the trunk space. So reloading it. First the windscreen, and then the tonneau cover, which the idea of the tonneau cover is that it can be put into place if you're out for a tour and you stop for lunch and the skies look threatening without having to put up the top and take off that parade boot. You can just install the tonneau cover. It also has a zip function where if a driver is out for a solo tour, he can just cover the passenger compartment. So there's a good look at the trunk, and now we'll climb inside to take a look at the interior. Probably don't need that key in there, but in Japanese car style of the 90s and early 2000s, you hear that chime. So I mentioned the double DIN head unit that's in place. It does feature Bluetooth. The seller is including the original head unit. You can see this fairly large speaker on the door is by Bose. So Bose sound, and here's a tweeter on the door as well. You might notice no window function here on the doors, but it does come with power windows. The switches are in the center console. I'll give you a look at those. They're kind of obscured by the key right now, but there are the power window switches. A couple of little cubbies here. I suppose that's an ashtray, but it looks to be in unused condition. Certainly no odor of smoke in this car. And inside of it, I found this remote control for the Boss double DIN head unit. It's a little tight for it in there, so I'm going to change spots. Cup holder. That's where I'll put the remote. And then the one we saw with the releases for the trunk and the fuel door. And even a GPS in there. Check the detailed listing. I have a feeling that's a personal item and it does not come with the car. If it does, we'll mark that in the detailed listing. So Great black on white instrumentation. On the left we've got a tach with a max reading of 8,000, 7,000 RPM redline, and a speedometer that maxes out at 240 kilometers an hour. Smaller gauges for fuel, oil temperature, and coolant temperature. There's a good look at the Boss double-din head unit with the USB input as well as Bluetooth functionality. Car is equipped with air conditioning, and we can't see it with the top down, but there's a glass window in place in the car, and you can see the defrost switch in between the fan, the blower, and the direction of the air. Power mirrors as well, and there's the control for that. Nardi steering wheel, which is an impressive little feature on this MX-5 Miata, and an airbag in here, as well as an airbag over here for the passenger. Front vents, and there's one that even blows to the side, the door window to keep it defrosted. There's one on either side. I'm going to take a look at this glove box. It's my first time in, and give you a look at the instrumentation again as I clear out a couple of personal items. So, nice clean glove box. Well, clean might not be the word, but clean in the context of everything works and is in place. And it looks like we've got an original 01 MX-5 Miata owner's manual as well. One thing I noticed when we started shooting is the driver's floor mat is not in place. I'll inquire about that of the owner as well. But you can see the two pedals as well as the dead pedal. Nice big comfy dead pedal for those long cruises. And I already mentioned we've got an automatic transmission. So 3-speed automatic, and here's the button for the overdrive. So pretty handy at highway speed to just flip that on, get about a 500 RPM saving and a nice quieter sound as you're driving. And we've got an original MX-5 Miata floor mat here for the passenger, as well as I'm just reloading all the personal items into the glove box that wanted to keep personal. And there's a look at that Bose emblem for the larger speaker on the passenger door, and there's the tweeter, of course, for that passenger door. And here are the window switches again. So I'll give the MX-5 Miata one more quick walk around. Here we can see 1 as the 8th from the final digit in the VIN to indicate a 2001 model year. I can also see the date of November 2000 for a date of production, indicating a 2001 model year. And here's how we know that this is a Canadian market car. So, one more quick walk around the MX-5 Miata, and we'll move to some closing thoughts. So yeah, the side skirt from the factory gives it a bit of an aggressive look, and the Stanford wheels add to it, I would say. Those Stanford wheels really add to the aggressive look of this 2001 MX-5 Miata. In British racing green, we'll call it, over a tan leather interior. Moving on to some closing thoughts. So there you have it, our 2001 Mazda MX-5 Miata, the NB2 body. And this one is going to its new owner with under 135,000 kilometers. I'll add that mated to that 1.8 liter factory rated 142 horsepower engine is the 3-speed automatic with overdrive, driving sending the power to the rear wheels only on the MX-5 Miata. So nice clean example. Check it out. It's lot 239 on CollectorCarCanada.CA. That concludes this car review video. Thank you for watching, and on to the next car.